So very good afternoon to each one of you.
Very good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Good afternoon, sir.
First of all, let me extend my heartfelt gratitude to director of this institution, Professor Madam Jyoti, and coordinator, Professor Nanjunu Swamiji, esteemed participants, above all, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed privileged and honored to share few thoughts about the protection of human rights of women. This is what they have assigned me a topic to share few words about the subjective and objective approaches of the protection of human rights of women, not only in India, cutting across the world. Of course, much has been discussed on human rights of women all over the world. However, it stimulates me to share few notable laws and cases decided by Honorable Supreme Court of India. So when you deal with rights of women, in fact, there are series of issues and challenges we have all along. We have issues in connection to the subject matter of unequal pay, racial injustice, gender-based violence, inadequate health care, threats to reproductive rights, lack of education, food insecurity, climate change, unequal political representation, discriminatory social institutions. So these are the major problems we have when you are listening to understand the subject matter of women all over the world. So apart from these, we have some issues in connection to human trafficking. As you have already been known, there are many issues and challenges we have in connection to human trafficking. Then limited freedom of movement, threats during migration, discrimination based on disability, then discrimination based on caste, creed, color, language, everything we have. And apart from this, we have poor mental health issues, digital divide, online harassments, unpaid labor, inadequate maternal health care, etc., etc. So these are the major issues and challenges we have. Our concern is to have a look on right to equality. Perhaps many scholars who are sitting before me may have known what is right to equality. Have a look on Article 14 of the Constitution of India, wherein it has given you some inputs to understand right to equality. You know very well that like should be treated alike, unlike should not be treated alike. Equality before law and equal protection of law, they should go hand in hand. This is what we have known on the basis of the Constitution checks and balances as well. So without understanding the Constitution, it's very difficult to have a look on rights of women as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, the moment when you are dealing with these issues and challenges, you shall not be forgotten on what are human rights. And you know that human rights are nothing but basic rights, natural, inalienable, instrumental, fundamental. They are there everywhere. So without understanding human rights, it's very difficult to have a look on rights of women. That's very important from the point of understanding. You have to create a synergy between human rights and women as well. Just have a look on Article 1 of UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948, wherein it talks about all men and women, they are equally born. What else you want beyond Article 21 of the UDHR as such, which was in fact drafted by John Humphrey of Canada, who could share on the basis for 30 articles. 30 articles are really helpful to women, not only in India, cutting across the world. This is very important from the point of understanding human rights approaches as well. So apart from UDHR, you have International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights 1966. They can also enjoy civil and political rights everywhere. This is one thing. On the other hand, when the issues were widespread all over the world, in fact, United Nations came out with very good approaches by saying that the rights of women should be protected all over the world. This is one thing I would like to share with you. Keeping of all these parameters, then earlier history, women are possessing more than that. That's very important. Please understand. And you can put a fundamental question here. Why laws are favoring women? That is my concern. Why laws are favoring women? It is because of historical injustice and practical denials. Women are possessing as many as rights as well. This is very important from the point of view of understanding rights of women as well. In nutshell, I can say that nobody is actually stronger or inferior. All are equally footed. This is what Lao Tse and Confucius philosophers who have outspoken on right to equality as well. You have to grow naturally how plants and trees are growing. That's very important. This is one thing. On the other hand, as you already been known, violence shall not be tolerated. Similarly, discrimination. I mean to say that discrimination shall not be tolerated. That's very important. You have to understand it here when you are just dealing with the human rights as well. See, what are human rights? Why human rights are helpful for the survival of a human being? There is no exception to women. This is very important. Just to sit before internet, get downloaded a number of materials on the protection of human rights of women as well. So while you are dealing with this, you may find a lot of cases decided by Honorable Supreme Court of India as well. Supreme Court of India is also putting its efforts with a view to help the people who have come from highly marginalized sections of the society, weaker sections of the society, are retracted from the society as a whole. So in this way, understanding the human rights of women is not so simple. They're all actually highly sensitive. You have to understand. They do have their own seminal, significant approaches as well. So with these a few aspects, moreover, if rather I would say, we'll start one by one with you to understand human rights of these women as well. For centuries, as you already been known, society has undervalued the work women perform. In fact, women are even paid less than men for the same work. According to the International Labour Organization, there has been some progress, but gender-based gaps still exist, are widening certain jobs as well. And you know that the gaps cannot be blamed on educational differences, which means that in most countries, men still earn more than women. This is one of the challenging issues we have when you are listening to understand unequal pay. Then racial injustice is also there. What is racial justice? That's very important. You have to understand. See, all women face a discrimination, but women belonging to ethnic minorities face compounded inequalities. So inequalities are remained even today. We are just talking more on our own philosophical foundations as well. Just have a look on gay marriage or same-sex marriages, or antinuptial marriages, proxy marriages, polygamous marriages, monogamous marriages. So all in all, see, so most of the women, they are all actually facing as many as problems. Of course, you may be finding $1,000,000 questions. Questions are remained, but we need solution. That's very important. Just have a look on the efforts made by United Nations organization, wherein it has come out with as many as international conventions. So what are the conventions we have? Treaties we have, and protocols we have. Why UNO is highly interested to help marginalized sections of the society or weaker sections of the society? There is a meaning in it. Have a look on the preamble of UN Charter 1945, wherein it has outspoken. It starts with we, the people of United Nations, determined to save the succeeding generation from the scourge of war. This is one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, as long as you are dealing with human rights, you shall not be forgotten on the efforts made by UNO itself. Take an example in this way. They say that there shall be international cooperation and mutual coexistence with a view to maintain or restore international peace and security. This is one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, as long as they are dealing with the protection of human rights, obviously, if rather you would say, you have to have a look on international efforts to be made with a view to understand the problems of these women as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, there shall be mutual coexistence and the reciprocity with a view to encourage and recognize human rights without distinction of the race, sex, language, and the religion. So keeping in view of all these captions, in fact, as many as organs of UNO, they have been in fact putting their efforts with you to understand human rights as well. Take an example: General Assembly, Security Council, Secretariat, then ICJ, International Court of Justice. They have been actually keep working for the survival of humanity. That's very important. See, what is humanity here? How in what manner humanism can be looked into? That's very important from the point of understanding the human rights as well. On the other hand, lots of obligations are shouldered on you. Each state is a supreme AIF law. There's no second thought in it. It can pass any legislation, amend a legislation, and repeal a legislation. Such a kind of an autonomy has already been given to a state to decide what is to be done. When a state has already been given a power to decide a case, they have to decide it according to their time. That's very important. If something has gone wrong to women, the state should come forward with some action plan to understand these vulnerable groups as well. So keeping enough all these examples, of course, in India, so we have had as many as legislations which are in fact dealing with the women, not an issue. However, it requires to have a lot of drill to understand the problems as well. Is one thing I would like to share with you. Apart from this, we have some specific legislations which are dealing with the rights of women. Take an example, the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, the Commission of Sati Act, the oldest act, we should know it, Then apart from these, we have Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act of 2005. We have then Sexual Harassment of Women at Working Place, called as Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. We have Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. Apart from these, you have the Indecent Representation of Women Act 1986. These are the specific legislations have been actually passed by our own parliament with a view to understand human rights of women, especially in India. This is one thing I would like to share with you. Apart from this, as long as you are just dealing with these specific legislation, you shall not be forgotten on, the classical examples in connection to the subject matter of rights and duties. What are rights and duties? So how would you balance rights and duties? This is one thing I would like to share with you. See, as long as you are dealing with rights, so long you shall not be forgotten on duties. I mean to say, obligations towards others. You should know Kriya and Karma. Kriya for yourself, Karma for others. That's very important. What is Kriya and Karma? Karma means, obligations towards others. That's a dharma, as you have already been known. So how, in what manner you are going to respect others? I respect your truth, please respect my truth. That is the strength. So without understanding these two streams, it's very difficult to have a look on human rights as well. So therefore, I would like to share with you that the moment when you are dealing with these issues and challenges, you have to balance rights and the duties as well. This is one thing. And you can put a fundamental question here. What are rights? Rights are nothing but interests recognized and protected by law. All rights should be protected by law. Otherwise, it's very difficult to understand them. There shall be a recognition of rights. With a view to recognize these rights, there shall be minimum effectiveness. So without understanding minimum effectiveness, whatever you are going to say on civil rights, political rights, economic rights, solidar rights, or some other rights, they are not in fact worthwhile. So therefore, if rather I would say, as long as you are dealing with rights, so long you shall not be forgotten on the obligations towards others. That's very important. You have to balance rights and duties very well. Otherwise, it's very difficult. They should go hand in hand, if rather I would say. It's one thing I would like to share with you. Looking into the perspectives on rights which are guaranteed under the Part 3 of the Constitution of India. Here, lots of information is actually essential with a view to understand the rights of women under the umbrella of the Constitution of India. So Constitution has given very good, platforms with a view to understand these vulnerable groups or marginalized sections of the society as well. So therefore, we have to appreciate the efforts made by the constitutional makers with a view to understand the rights of women. Take for an example, Article 14, 15, 16, 17, 23. Even other articles are also dealing with the problems of women country like India. This is very, very important from the point of understanding the constitutional checks and balances as well. On the other hand, there are as many as a series of cases have been decided on the basis of a constitutional interpretation and the judicial interpretation as well. Take for an example, in Shahrabano versus Union of India, which has declared the practice of instant triple talaq, which was actually unconstitutional, recognizing it as a violation of women's fundamental rights as well. In one of the interesting cases, Joseph Shine versus Union of India, wherein the Supreme Court, which has focused on section 497 of the Indian Penal Code, which criminalized adultery, citing its discriminatory nature against women and upholding gender equality in marital relationship as well. Here, you can put a fundamental question: what is marital relationship? What is, marriage? So, especially in the globalized world, you have to define what is marriage all about. It could be either monogamous marriage or polygamous marriage, whatever you may call them. That's a different issue. So, what is marriage? What are the contents in it? How a marriage shall be looked into? That's very important from the point of understanding these interesting cases as well. So, you have to define what is marriage all about. Whatever we have defined now, that is actually outdated. Of course, no matter, marriages are social institutions which gives rise status to men and women. That is there, not an issue. So when you are listening to understand gay marriage or same-sex marriages, so these are the major questions which are remained even today. There is no sound solutions with a view to understand gay or same-sex marriage or living in relationship or working in a relationship. What you can call them in different perceptions and ideologies based on the globalized world as such. So this is one thing I would like to share with you. If rather I would say, especially in Suman Sarpur versus Amar, in this particular case, Supreme Court upheld the equality of equal rights of a daughter to inherit ancestral property, confirming gender equality in property rights. She can also claim her equal share with her, with her father's property as well. This is also permitted under law. Perhaps many scholars who are sitting before me may have known Vishaka versus State of Rajasthan, 1997 case, which is actually dealing with sexual harassment at working places as well. No matter, however it could be, whenever she wants to work with the public or private sector, she should be worked without any hindrance or without any discrimination, without any problems as well. So in this way, few interesting people, they moved to Supreme Court of India with a view to understand what is all about sexual harassments at working places as well. Keeping in of all these cases, interesting cases, many legislations have been actually passed by Parliament with a view to uphold the constitutional and human rights values of women country like India. In this way, I appreciate the efforts made by Supreme Court in this regard with a view to understand the rights of women as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, certain steps have been actually taken into note of with a view to understand these vulnerable groups as well. Take for an example, in 1993, in fact, our parliament could pass a legislation based on international force, none other than the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. So based on 1993 Act, your NHRC, National Human Rights Commission for National Human Rights Commission was actually established. So based on National Human Rights Commission, the National Commission for Women, the National Commission for Minority, National Commission for SCs and STs, all these commissions were established with a view to boost the human rights of women as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. So our government is also putting its efforts with a view to give more importance to women as well. That has to be appreciated in otherwise manner. This is one thing. As long as you are dealing with these so long, we shall not be forgotten on the efforts made by apex courts as well, especially in a CB Mutamma versus Union of India 1979 case. In this case, addressed gender discrimination in the Indian Foreign Service with the court highlighting that the need to be eliminated such practices as well. See, she should be given an opportunity to lead her life. This is one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, Delhi Domestic Working Women's Forum versus Union of India, 1995 case. In this particular case, the court established new requirements for police in handling rape cases, including providing legal representation and protecting victims' anonymity. See, obviously, no matter, she should be peaceful. You can put a fundamental question here. What is peace? Peace, it does not mean it is an absence of war. Peace means presence of justice. What is justice here? Why people are knocking the doors of judiciary? They need justice. They have not come here to share their feelings, which lies supreme, either in municipal lies supreme or international lies supreme. Let me share with you the moment when you're just dealing with the human rights of these women. Obviously, you shall not be forgotten on efforts made by international legislations and the national legislations as well. Take for an example, in 1948, UDHR came in, Universal Declaration of Human Rights came in. In 1966, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights came in. On the other hand, in 1989, in fact, the rights of child was actually established. Apart from these, 1979, in fact, the International Convention on women, especially CEDA, was actually established. Convention on Elimination of all forms of discrimination against women came in. Why these international covenants came in? There is a meaning in it. Please understand. The moment when you're just dealing with these people as well. See, a lot of efforts have been made by United Nations organization and its half century enactments. We have to appreciate the efforts made by the international scholars as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. In 2001, in fact, 5 special reporters of International Law Commission, they came out with the draft articles on state responsibility for internationally wrongful acts, which were drafted by 5 special rapporteurs of International Law Commission, should also be actually appreciated. So what I would like to share with you that the efforts made by these agencies are also actually helpful for the survival of these people as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, if rather I would say, the moment when you're just dealing with these, obviously, you have to understand the international force, why states are actually putting their efforts with a view to understand the people all over the world. This is one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, you can put a fundamental question to me, why laws are favoring women? My answer is very simple. If rather I would say, perhaps we may have gone through while you were just sharing your views about women all over the world. Perhaps we may have, in fact, organized as many as international conferences, seminars, workshops, symposium, with a view to understand rights of women everywhere. That's a different issue. That's there, not an issue. However, the moment when you're just dealing with these, you can put a fundamental question, why laws are favoring women? It is because of historical injustice and practical denials. Laws are favoring women. This is very a sensible issue. Please understand. It has got its own seminal significant approaches as well. What kind of seminal significant approaches you have? How will you understand these people when you are listening to understand as many as a crisis as you have gang rapes, you have issues in connection to child labor, issues in connection to IDP, internally displaced persons, issues in connection to refugees all over the world, issues in connection to war, especially during war period, women are targeted. This has happened in war in Chechnya, Georgia, then Ukraine, war between America and Iraq. Look at and understand ongoing crisis in Iran and Iraq. They're all actually vulnerable even today. So as you have already been known that during war situation, women are going to be targeted. To overcome all these, in 1979, in fact, UNO and its efforts made by various statesmen, we came out with a very good international convention on elimination of all forms of racial discrimination uh, against women as well. That's very important step which was actually taken by the international scholars with a view to understand the women as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, apart from these classical issues, we have some, mm, examples you have to understand. Let me share with you. My wife cannot ask me to have a mother room. How can I have a mother room? I'm biologically imbalanced. That's very important. You have to understand in otherwise manner is one thing. On the other hand, there are as many as what shall I say conflicts between these two segments of the society. So how will you resolve? Whether egg is first, hen is first, plant is first, seed is first, men are first, women are first. See, whether military necessity is first or humanity is first. It's very difficult to understand all these issues. However, there is a room for discussing all these issues. You are a better judge, judge what is right and what is wrong. That's very important from the point of view of understanding rights of women as well. Of course, no matter there are series of rights have been actually given to women as well. As you have already been the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution is very clear about right to life. What is right to life? That itself is a primary right. So without which other rights cannot be enjoyable. This is one thing I would like to share. Right to life, liberty, fraternity. All these things are supposed to be enjoyed by women as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, as long as you are dealing with the rights of women, you shall not be forgotten on the concept of justice. What is justice? You have to judge. You are a better judge. Judge what is right and what is wrong. What is good for me may not be right for you. What is right for me may not be right for you. All these questions are remained even today. But there is a room for discussing all these issues based on triple talaq. What is a triple talaq? Yeah, as you have already been known very recently. See, that's a sensible issue based on religious fundamentalisms as well. See, in the name of religion, caste, you have targeted many. That should not be. So, to overcome all these, we have to understand the triple justice as well. What is triple justice? Triple justice is nothing but political, economic, and social justice. It means that you have to give voice to the voiceless, eyes to the eyesless, remedies to the remediless. That is our concern, isn't it? It means that the entire civil society is responsible to pay for it. Entire civil society is responsible to pay for it. And you know very well, better than me, if somebody is actually crying at home, mother should know why he or she is crying at home. That's very important from the point of understanding the rights of women as well. You have to wipe out the tears of these people. Otherwise, the society will not be successful. In this way, if rather I would say. However, you may be finding a lot of legislations. So these legislations should be implemented effectively for the survival of these people. This is one thing. On the other hand, if rather I would say, National Human Rights Commission has been in fact putting its efforts with you to understand the women as well. This is one thing. On the other hand, UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, then as many as specialized agencies of UNO, they have been in fact putting their efforts with a view to understand the human rights of women, not only in India, cutting across the world as well. It's one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, as long as you are dealing with these, so long you shall not be forgotten on efforts made by regional agencies. Take for example, you have Organization of American States, Organization of African Union, you have SARC. All in all, they have been actually keep working with the survival of these women all over the world as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. This is one thing. Apart from this, there are some issues in connection to right to maintenance, right to equal pay, right to dignity and decency, right against domestic violence, rights at workplace, right against dowry, right to free legal aid, right to self-defense. So these are the rights which are guaranteed to women. This is one thing. See, mere rights are not sufficient. There shall be minimum effectiveness. Rights are supposed to be protected. This is one thing I would like to share with you on the basis of a Howfieldian philosophy as well. Where there is a right, there is a duty. Where there is a duty, there is a liability. If X happens, then Y ought to happen. If X commits a crime, you should be prosecuted. That is our relations. One has to understand in otherwise manner. The moment when you're just dealing with the rights of women as well is one thing I would like to share with you. Apart from these, you have Maternity Benefit Act 1961, Equal Remuneration Act 1976. T6, then Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971, then Dowry Prohibition Act 1961. These are the specific legislations which are in fact dealing with the human rights of women in India. Apart from this, we have some perennial or comprehensive questions. So what are the perennial or comprehensive questions you have? Let me share with you. What is the law and status of women in India? Then, do women have equal?
Sir, there is no voice, sir.
Sir, namaste. Myself, Dr. Nagesh. I am from Central Tribal Institute of Andhra Pradesh, sir.
Please tell me.
Hello.
Yeah.
ಸರ್ ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ NHRC ಮತ್ತೆ SHRC ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಬೈ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್, ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳು. ಸೊ ಈ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವುಗಳ ಪಾತ್ರಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪೀರಿಯಾಡಿಕಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಗಳಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So as you were highlighting about the importance of human rights when it comes to the women, so how they exercise their human rights ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಬಂದ್ರಿ. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಈಗ ಜೆಂಡರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಒಂದು ನಾವು ಎರಡು ಕಡೆನೂ ಆಲೋಚನೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಮೆನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವುಮೆನ್, ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ NHRC ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ, SHRC ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಸರ್, ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ.
Correct. That's a right question you have asked. So based on the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, lots of responsibilities are shouldered on NHRC, even SHRC as well. Apart from NHRC and State Human Rights Commission, we have certain bodies established at the local level. In district level, we have committees. Taluk level also, we have some committees as well. Apart from this, based on 73rd and 74th Amendment of the Constitution of India, we have given some powers to Gram Sabha as well. Gram Sabha is also dealing with the issues and challenges which are there at the local level as well. So in this way, of course, no matter, as I have already been stated, that there shall be minimum effectiveness. Mere existence of rights are not sufficient. This is what even H.L. Hart said long ago. While we were just understanding the constitutional experts, in fact, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar could say that mere existence of rights are not sufficient. There shall be minimum effectiveness. There shall be recognition of rights. So without recognizing your rights, it's very difficult to understand rights of women as well. Otherwise, you will be focusing on philosophical foundation, as I have already been very clear. Like, like should be treated alike, unlike should not be treated alike. Equality before law and equal protection of law, they should go hand in hand. Everybody knows. We know much about the philosophy. They include even Lao Tse and Confucius philosophy. What they say that you cannot be a stronger by exploiting others. All are equally footing, and nobody is actually superior or inferior. So that's there in the light of philosophical foundations. They are called as, what shall I say, natural rights. Natural rights. How natural rights are replaced as human rights, that's very important from the point of understanding the natural rights and the human rights as well. So my observation is very simple. As long as we are dealing with some social, economic, and political issues and challenges of these women, you shall not be forgotten on the recognition of rights. So there shall be recognition of rights. That's why I have come across with as many as interesting, what shall I say, legislations which were in fact passed by our own parliament as well. So without understanding these specific legislations, whatever you are going to say on human rights of women would be frustrated. So that's why, keeping enough all these examples, our own parliament, based on constitutional checks and balances, passed as many as legislations for the survival of women country like India. This is one thing I would like to share with you. On the other hand, even UNO and its half century enactments, they have been actually keep dealing with women all over the world. When you are listening to understand, what shall I say, Beijing Declaration 1995. In fact, Hillary Clinton, who could participate and with this Beijing Declaration, and called all of them with a view to understand the problems of women all over the world, not only in India, cutting across the world as well. So with these a few aspects, of course, no matter, there is an international force with a view to understand women at the local level. This is very, very important. And moreover, if rather I would say, ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ 1993 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಬಂತಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಒಂದಿದೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ 1966 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಎರಡು ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಡಂಬಡಿಕೆಗಳು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಒಡಂಬಡಿಕೆಗಳು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಒಡಂಬಡಿಕೆಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು 1966 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದನ್ನ ರಾಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು 1993 ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಹಾಗೆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. There shall be a specific legislation, adoption. Otherwise, it's very difficult to borrow or transfer such kind of international human rights law into the municipal law. This is one thing I would like to share with you. 1988 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಡಿಕ್ಲರೇಷನ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಈ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಡಿಕ್ಲರೇಷನ್. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ರೀಸನ್ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟಿದಾವೆ. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ how in what manner you are going to borrow international human rights law into the municipal law. That's very important. You have to create a synergy between international law and the municipal law as well. Municipal in the sense that national law, as we have already been known. So ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಗೊಂದಲಗಳು ಇದಾವೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳೋದು ಅರ್ಥ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಇದು ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ. ಇದು ವಿಮೆನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ಸ್. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ highly sensible and emotional, and man is an emotional being. ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಒಂಥರ ಭಾವನಾತ್ಮಕವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಇದು. ಸೊ ಅದು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಿರ್ಲಿ. However, when you are listening to understand constitutional and judicial interpretation, lots of cases have been actually decided by Honorable Supreme Court. Perhaps ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಈಗ ವಿಶಾಖ ವರ್ಸಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಾಜಸ್ಥಾನ್ಸ್ 1997 ಕೇಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ನಿರ್ಭಯಾಸ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸೊ ಹತ್ರಾಸ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಗ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ರೇಪ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಪೇ ಫಾರ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಕಾನೂನು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಡೌರಿ ಪ್ರಾಹಿಬಿಷನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತ ಕಾನೂನುಗಳು. ಇಂಡಿಸೆಂಟ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕೇಸಸ್. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಯಾರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜುಡಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ. ಸೊ ಜುಡಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು. ಯಾರು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಓದ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ಪ್ರಿಯಂಬಲ್ ಓದಿ ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಯಾರು ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಒಂಥರ ಅದೊಂದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸೋ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಎ ಡ್ರಾಮಾ, ನಾವೆಲ್ ಆರ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ. ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ವೇರ್ you can find a lot of opportunities. You just open the Pandora box of constitution, you will be known all of them. You have women, children, orphans, LGBT, every one of them you may be expecting under the umbrella of the constitution as well. I must share with you, being a lawyer in the field of law, constitution that itself is a suprema lex and a lex specialis. We have to understand constitution once again. Otherwise, it's very difficult to have a look on. Keeping note of all these examples, when I was actually dealing with these issues, I could mention that where there is a right, there is a duty. Where there is a duty, there is a liability. This is our dual relations. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹಕ್ಕಿದೆಯೋ ನಮಗೆ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ, ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ನಾವು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಒನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಅದು ಆಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ದರ್ ಶಲ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಸಿನರ್ಜಿ ಆರ್ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಮೆನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವುಮೆನ್. Otherwise, it's very difficult to understand these issues. As far as your question is concerned, I must share with you that National Human Rights Commission and National Human Rights Commission for Women, they have been in fact keep upholding the constitutional values in connection to women, country like India as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. Even in authorized manner, you have to give voice to the voiceless, eyes to the eyesless, remedies to the remediless. That is our concern. That is our strength. We have to understand. I respect your truth. Please respect my truth. That's very important. This is one thing I would like to share with you. And moreover, if rather would say, you should know where exactly you have come from. Then only you will be appreciated. Where are you going? Otherwise, how can you understand this? This has happened in various war situations, as I have already been made it clear. During First and Second World War, women were actually targeted. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಈಗ ನೀವು ಹಿರೋಶಿಮಾ ನಾಗಸಾಕಿಗೆ ಬಾಂಬ್ ಹಾಕಿದಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಮೆರಿಕದವರು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀರಿ, ಲಿಟಲ್ ಗರ್ಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಗರ್ಲ್ ಅಂತ ನೀವೇನು ಹೆಸರಿಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಬೈ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ನೀವ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಚಾರಿಟಿ ಬಿಗಿನ್ಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಅಂತ. ಆಸ್ ಎ ಲಾಯರ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ವೈಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಗಿನ್ಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಹೋಮ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್, ಅಂಡ್ ವೈಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ಗಟನ್. and shall not be, what shall I say, sideline in otherwise manner. You have to understand it. Yes, isn't it? Violence shall not be tolerated, including discrimination. Discrimination shall not be tolerated. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿ ಮನೇಲಿ ತಾಯಿ ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳೆ, ಮೊದಲೇ ಊಟ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಏನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ, ಬಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬಂತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದಿ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಇಸ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್, ನಾಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಬೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಾ. ಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋರು ಯಾರು? ಕೆಲವೇ ಜನ ಮಾತ್ರ. ದೋಸ್ ಹೂ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಟು ಕೋರ್ಟ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಡೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೈಪ್ ಔಟ್ ಎ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೇ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ಲೈಫ್, ಐ ಶುಡ್ ಗೋ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಒಂದು ಹೊಂದಾಣಿಕೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೋರಾಟ. ಹೊಂದಾಣಿಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಆಯಾಮಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಹೊಂದಾಣಿಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಹೋರಾಟ. ಸೊ ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಅವಕಾಶಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಕಾನೂನಿದೆ, ಸಂಘ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಮಿಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ, ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ತಾಲೂಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಗ್ರಾಮ ಸಭಾನೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ನೀವು ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಹಾಯವಾಣಿಗಳಿದಾವೆ, ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಎನ್ಫೋರ್ಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನೀವು ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಿಮೆನ್ ಏನು ನೀವೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅದು ಭಾವಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಶೇರ್ ವಿತ್ ಯು based on your question. Do you have some more questions in connection to human rights of women? ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ತೊಂದರೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಲಿಬರಲ್. Make sure that it should be an interactive rather than just narrating from one side. ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಸಜೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು. It would be helpful for my research.
Sir,
do you have some questions?
ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆಕ್ಚುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಲೋಕ ಅದಾಲತ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಲೋಕ ಅದಾಲತ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ನಾವು ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನು ಪಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಲೋಕ ಅದಾಲತ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಮಿನೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟು, ಪ್ರಿಯಾರಿಟಿನ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನ ಪಡ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್ ಲೋಕ ಅದಾಲತ್ನಲ್ಲಿ?
ಲೋಕ ಅದಾಲತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡೀಲ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಏನು ಪಾವರ್ಟಿ, ಬಿಲೋ ಪಾವರ್ಟಿ ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋರಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೊಂದು ನ್ಯಾಯ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವೊಂದು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಇದು ಒಂದು. ಯಾಕೆಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಮಾರು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಗಿಂತ ನಾವು ಹಾಗೆ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಕೇಸನ್ನ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎವ್ರಿ ವೀಕಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಂತ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನ ಬಗೆಹರಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇತ್ಯರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅವಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ ಇದೊಂದು. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಈಗ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ ರೆಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ನೆಗೋಷಿಯೇಷನ್ನು, ಮೀಡಿಯೇಷನ್ನು, ಗುಡ್ ಆಫೀಸು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ರಿಚ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ ಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಕ್ಕೆ, ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಹಣ ಇಲ್ದವ್ರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂತವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯಾಯ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ಒಂದು ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ ರೆಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ. ಇದು ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಆದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಂಗೆ ಈಗ ಹೋರಾಟ ಮತ್ತು ಹೊಂದಾಣಿಕೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಏಡು ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಕೊಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅದು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ 4-6 ಜನ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆಕೆಯನ್ನ ಫೋರ್ಸು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೊಂದಾಣಿಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊ ಅನ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಇದಾವೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕೊಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಐಡಿಯಾಲಜಿ ಏನು ಅಂತಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ನ್ಯಾಯ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಸಿಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಮೋರ್ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸಸ್, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಬಗೆಹರಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಈಗ ಸೌಜನ್ಯಸ್ ಕೇಸೇ ತಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಆ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಓದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, 76 pages ಇದೆ. ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಜಡ್ಜ್ ಏನ್ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಹಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎರ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಎರ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದು ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಯ್ತು. ಅದು ಸರ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿಯಲ್ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾನು ಕೂಡ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಬಹಳ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು. ವಿತೌಟ್ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಿಮೆನ್, ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, ಕಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಬರೀ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ನೆಸ್ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ರೆಕಗ್ನಿಷನ್ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಏಜೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿನ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ದೇ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಇವನ್ non-governmental organizations, intergovernmental organizations, and such other institutions have been actually performing their duties very well. However, it takes time to understand the problems of women all over the world as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. But
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Your effort is to be appreciated. Because of you know, you have been actually keep working on rights of women as well. ಈಗ ವಿಶ್ವಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ವಿಶ್ವಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಟೀಕೆಗಳು ಇದಾವೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನಾವು ಬರೀ ಟೀಕೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ದಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದೇನಾದ್ರು ರಿಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಹೌ ಟು ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ UN ಅನ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಹಾಫ್ ಸೆಂಚುರಿ ಎನಾಕ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ UDHR. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ, UDHR ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಲ್ ಡಿಕ್ಲರೇಷನ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕವೆನೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ರೈಟ್ 1966, ದೆನ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕವೆನೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್, ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ರೈಟ್ 1966. ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವಿಯೆನ್ನಾ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್, ಬೀಜಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಕ್ಲರೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದಾವೆ. ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಲೆಜಿಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ರೀಜನಲಿಸಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಯುರೋಪಿಯನ್ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಅಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಯುರೋಪಿಯನ್ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆನ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಮೆರಿಕನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್, ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಫ್ರಿಕನ್ ಯೂನಿಯನ್, ಸಾರ್ಕ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಇದಾವೆ, ಎಫರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ there shall be effective implementation of these legislations and the international covenants as well. This is one thing I would like to share with you. And moreover, the moment when you are just dealing with transformation of international human rights law into the municipal law, there is an analysis. Please understand. See, there is a common misconception prevailed in Indian judicial system to the effect that international covenants are not supposed to be enforceable unless and until you should have had, specific adoption or formal approval. ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಅಪ್ರೂವಲ್, ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಅಡಾಪ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೂ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಟ್ ದಿ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಬೈ ಆನರಬಲ್ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ with a view to understand the problems of vulnerable groups. ಈಗ ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಮ್ಮ VR ಕೃಷ್ಣಯ್ಯರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ VR ಕೃಷ್ಣಯ್ಯರ್, ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಹಿದಾಯತ್, ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಭಗವತಿ, ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ HR ಖನ್ನಾ. So they have in fact heralded transformational changes on the basis of the international force as well. ನಾವು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡುವಾಗ ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಮಟ್ಟದಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತು ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಆ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿ, ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡಿ, ಹೀಗೆ ನೋಡಿ, ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್. ಅಂಡರ್ ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಡೆಫಿನಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಟ್ ನಾವೊಂದು ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್. ಒಂಥರ ಸ್ವೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದು, ಸೇಫ್ ಕಾರ್ನರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದು, ಇಸಂಟ್ ಇಟ್? ನಮಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಬಂದಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದೀವಿ, ಅಷ್ಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೆಂತ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು, ಇಫ್ ಸಂಬಡಿ is actually crying at home, mother should know why he or she is crying. That's very important from the point of understanding the holistic and integrated society as a whole. ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ನೋಡುವ ಎಷ್ಟ್ರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇವು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಲ್ವಾ.